I want to talk now about Joe Gomez, and obviously comes back into the side, plays very, very well. He's had fitness issues, as we know, a long time out. Then he's getting injections in his knee. Everyone's been wondering where he's been the last few weeks, and the manager's basically like he hasn't trained, he hasn't been fit enough to play. He does come in at right back, John. There was definitely talk about him getting in the team. It was just where he was going to play. Not only was Liverpool's right back though, John, yesterday, he was Liverpool's right hand side. Like, he was Liverpool's right back, right midfielder, right winger. He played as a proper old school full back, up and down the line, doing his job defending, and it was nice to get a glimpse of what Joe Gomez can be at right back. I've said for a while, it's probably more so 2 years ago now because of the injury issues, he's always looked better in the more recent past as a full back than a centre back, I thought, and we saw against West Ham like the value that he can bring you at right back. He offers that solidity, but he's no mug going forward either.
No, I mean, people forget how good Joe Gomez is. When he first arrived as a young kid, his first few games were at left back, and he was the best left back we'd had for years. And then they switched him to centre back, and he was the best centre back we'd had for years. And he became the best English centre back there was for years. And his problem was that he kept getting these horrendous injuries when he went away with England. And he's always struggled with major injuries, not little niggles, but really big injuries. And people sort of forgotten how good he is. I mean, he played most games in the 2020 title win next to Van Dijk. He played most of that season, and he was brilliant all season. And he's a very, very talented footballer, and people have forgotten it for some reason, maybe because he's had long spells out. And I've been calling for him to be in that side for a long time because, when you're conceding goals left, right and centre, why is one of your best defenders not in the team? And yet yesterday he hardly had to defend. He was going forward, as you say, like a winger. The number of crosses he got in, he was involved in both goals. One from the left, which was ironic, and one from inverted in, more like an inside right position. He's just sensational, and I'm really pleased for him.
It's one of them you forget, because when you speak about Joe Gomez, everyone talks about him like he's over the hill now. He's 28. Like, he has had horrendous look. And we've had this conversation about Joe Gomez before, and it's hard to rely on him. It's hard for him to be plan A because he's never available enough to be plan A. But I thought against West Ham, John's right. He stopped the crosses, which is job one. He got on the end of things, but also he is quick. And he will just tug the byline. The best thing about him at times is I don't think he's that bothered about being involved in the attack. So you don't have to play it to him all the time. He'll kind of be there, and if he can get a cross in, he will. And if he can't, he'll just try and lay a pass off. Like, he's not trying to be like this world beater. But effectively, with Szoboszlai playing on that right hand side, tucking in, it was Gomez's job just to be Liverpool's entire right side, and to put that on him after so much time out, and then for him to deliver. A real bonus for Arne Slot that he got that kind of performance out of Joe Gomez. And again, the same conversation. If he stays fit, he can be very valuable to us. But to get 90 minutes of him doing that just shows what Liverpool probably have been missing for the last couple of weeks, if not months.
Yeah, definitely. Who knew that if you put a right back at right back, we'd be all right? You know what I mean? Like,
is he a right back though? He might be a centre back at right back. I don't know.
He's of James Milner, really. He can just play anywhere along that back line.
It's a bit sad though for the club that he had to play 90 minutes. There was no one else who could play there at this time.
You're throwing a midfielder behind you.
And he could. He really probably should have come off after about 75 minutes to make sure he was okay. But there's no one else there, is there? So, and
it's 1-0, and you've got to be wary of it. But I suppose it's one of them, Luke, where there's always, when you have injuries and your two right backs out, you've always got options to do. Do you play a defensive player? Do you play a midfielder? Do you have someone on the ball? And again, go back to it. He's had this knee injury, so Arne Slot's hands were a little bit tied there. But I think the manager will be so relieved that Gomez played well, got through the game, and is now a viable option. He should be fit enough. He's 28. This is the prime of his career.
That's because he spent pretty much his whole senior career. He's played with Charlton, but pretty much his whole senior career he's been at Liverpool. We forget how young we bought him. You know what I mean? He was literally still a kid, and we bled him into the side. And he offers something different as well. We've seen the use of the long throw-in yesterday as well. Just from having on the pitch, and it comes from that left-hand side. Only where he puts the throw-in, comes out to Vert, and then we get the goal. And he's going to add something just a little bit different. It's just, can he play 3 games in a week now? Because that is what we've got now. And usually you'd say no, but if we're playing Sunderland midweek, I'd argue we probably need to try and get 90 out of Joe Gomez there as well if we can.
Yeah, absolutely. And if he can, I'd definitely be looking to start him.
And the beauty of him as well, he can play anywhere in the back four. Any of those positions he's decent at.
Yeah, I thought he was really good at left back a couple of years ago when we lost Robbo and Costas for a while, and Gomez coming at left back. I suppose, John, the best thing, well, I say one of the best things I thought was like the issue you sometimes worry about when you play a defender at right back, a centre half at right back effectively. I've seen Quansah play there recently. You go back to years gone by, and Jamie Carragher's played there, or Daniel Agger. I remember once Martin Scale, I think having a go over there just needs must kind of thing. You do worry about the attack and how the balance of the attack's going to go and what you're going to do. But actually, Joe Gomez, listen, he is not Trent Alexander-Arnold. He's not even Conor Bradley in terms of the attack. But he gets forward and he can put a good ball in and he can pick a pass. Like he's not a liability when it comes to attack, and he's just fine.
Well, he isn't, like a tricky winger who can trick his way past the fullback or whatever. He's a bit thick set for that kind of role. But you give the ball to him, he's got pace, so he can move, and as you say, he can cross the ball.
I think his work rate needs praising just quickly, because what we're touching on there was sort of he's not a tricky winger. Like, I think there's a moment in the first half where he goes up the line and then he sort of tries to beat the man and he has a bit of a nosebleed and he loses it. But then it's the work rate that he got back and then gets the ball out of play for the West Ham throw-in in their own half. And it was sort of, that's what sometimes what you think Liverpool have been lacking a little bit, sort of like work rate and desire and just, willingness to just fly into a challenge and put a foot in, and he gave us that yesterday, which definitely lifted the crowd.
He's very, very level-headed, he's just a solid defender as well as anything else.
It feels now, again, this is always the Joe Gomez question, John. It's always fitness related, but for now, I think he should be the right back until he can't be. You will have to look after him, and it might be that he plays an hour and someone else has to do half an hour, and you figure it out. But it keeps Szoboszlai in midfield. It allows you to have a midfielder on the bench in Curtis Jones who you can bring on. It allows you, maybe we mentioned before, but Ibu Konate looked a bit more secure. Maybe just having Gomez next to him just adds that little bit of security blanket. But there's nothing that you saw from against West Ham that makes you think you'd want to change that, other than the fact that you've got to look after Joe a little bit.
Yeah, and if we come up against a team who's going to attack us a lot more, and there will be those teams, going forward, having a defender of his quality can't do you any harm at all, Better than having a midfield player there.
I think one of the other things Luke to round it up on, and we've touched on it a few times, but like the fact that he was able physically to play the 90 minutes is key, because we were an hour into the game or so. I think we got 70 minutes. Me and Paul were on the watch along. We were like at some point Gomez is going to have to come off, and it's only 1-0. And all of a sudden, what's going to happen is we're going to put someone at right back, Sobbo, Curtis, Endo. We're going to do something at right back. And they're going to put a big target. They're going to move Jarrod Bowen over to the left, and they're going to just have a go down that side. The fact that Gomez was able, having had injections in his knee a couple of weeks ago or a week ago, the fact that he was able to get through 90 minutes is a massive bonus there, because Liverpool didn't have to upset the balance of the side, and it's proved to everybody. Like, Joe Gomez first came back, he can last. Like, maybe there is a little bit of robustness that we can, fingers crossed, start to rely on a little bit.
Yeah, I think you've just got to try and play him no matter what, Steve. What you said,
and if he breaks down, he breaks down.
And if he breaks down, he breaks down. I think that's what you've just got to go for, because I think the key way you said there's balance. Like, the balance he gave to the side yesterday was absolutely perfect. And Sunderland are really going to put in them hard yards on Wednesday. We're going to need that balance, what we showed at West Ham now. You know what I mean? And he's going to give us that. So I'd argue just play till he breaks down, tell him take it easy in training. It's
interesting as well. I know you were in the stadium. Look, he is like a fan's favourite, Joe Gomez. He's like quietly, people like really enjoy. Like, he gets a song. He always is very well appreciated. He's such a shy lad and so unassuming. Like, even last year when they won the title and he was singing a song and he was a bit sheepish, like he is that. But like, people do really want this lad to do well. Like, and there's something in that as well. Like, having people who the crowd get behind all the time, because there's been times this year where the crowd's been a little bit like unsure of certain players, but there's a lot of love for Joe Gomez, and I think we're all just willing him to, can he finally start producing what he's produced for occasions in the past.
Yeah, and I think it's because he feels like our boy a bit, doesn't he? Just because when we bought him, he was so young, and he's been in the club for so long. He will be the longest serving player now, by a very long way. So yeah,
I'm a great fan of having a defence which is the same every week.
If you can,
if possible.
10, 12 games on the bounce, the same 4 guys. That's what you really want. If you're going to stop goals going in, that's the kind of steadiness you need. So, let's hope that he's fit.
Absolutely. Yeah, let us know your thoughts in the comment section. Joe Gomez, his performance. Is he the right back for the near future and, in fact, long term? Maybe it's not something that Arsenal can look at. That was a clip from the Final Word show. If you'd like to check out the full show, head on over to redmenplus.com.